Well, Bitcoin has a lot of problems. I mean, the only problem Bitcoin would solve is if you have too much money and you want to lose some, you could buy Bitcoin and that will solve your problem. No, this is reality. Look, Bitcoin, the idea of Bitcoin is nice. And if you don't really understand what money is, you may be fooled into thinking Bitcoin is a viable alternative, but it's not.
Hello, viewers, and welcome back to Finance Log. Are you one of those people who think rather than gold, Bitcoin is the future of money? Well, hold on to your wallets because the reality is that Bitcoin has a lot of problems. Recently, the debate about Bitcoin and gold kept coming up. And of course, with the recent spike in the value of gold, which saw it trading confidently at another record high last week compared to the bear market in the crypto space, the argument for value is summarily Bitcoin against gold. And in today's video, we will be watching media personality and CEO of Euro-Pacific Asset Management, Peter Schiff, sitting down in a recent interview with YouTube's Layah Heilpern to discuss his views on Bitcoin. Schiff is a notable critic of Bitcoin and has previously debated its merits against gold. When asked about Bitcoin, Schiff argues that it is not a viable store of value because it is not backed by anything physical. He notes that Bitcoin is stored on a digital platform, and there is no guarantee that it will retain its value in the long term. And in the second part, Schiff tries to make an analogy to his disposition on why he continues to hold his stance that Bitcoin in reality is all just a bubble with no solid store of value like it's been overhyped as. Sounds crazy, right? Well, let's take a look at the full video next.
Bitcoin tries to copy the properties that made gold better money than some other commodity. It's divisibility, it's portability, it's fungibility. Yes, I mean, Bitcoin does a good job if you cut a Bitcoin in half, right? Each half is the same. Just like if I take an ounce of gold and I make 2 half ounces, they're identical. All gold is exactly the same, right? It's not like if you have 2 cows, they're not going to weigh the same. They're not going to be the same height. Even 2 diamonds are not going to be the same. They have different cut, clarity, color, stuff like that. But gold's gold, and so it's fungible, divisible. It's really good as a medium of exchange and a unit account and all that. But what Bitcoin doesn't have is any actual value, right? Like gold does. Gold is a commodity. It's a metal. Here, I mean, I have some gold in this watch. But so gold actually has value that can be stored, and since gold doesn't tarnish or decay, it makes it ideal as a long-term store of value because I can have gold and in 100 years somebody could use that gold for something. It's not going to go away. And so gold was a great commodity to be money because what money is the most marketable commodity. So in order to become money, you have to start out as a commodity and then you can become money. Now, you also have fiat money, which a lot of people that are pro-Bitcoin understand the problem with fiat money. And the way fiat money came around is governments, or not even before governments, private issuers would hold real money, gold, in a vault, and then they would issue a note that was backed by that gold that would circulate as a substitute for gold. And those notes were currency. But what gave the currency value was the gold that was in a vault somewhere backing it up. But it was more convenient to trade in the currency than in the actual gold. But what happened later on is currency started to circulate because of government that was backed by nothing. Mm-hmm. And it just derived its value from faith. People just believed that it would have value, despite the fact that it was no longer tied to anything of real value like gold. So what Bitcoin really is like that fiat currency that a government creates where it has no actual value, but if people have confidence in it, if people believe that it has value, well then it will have some value temporarily until people stop believing. But in the meantime, even though there are people who believe that Bitcoin has value, the Bitcoin itself is so volatile in price and so expensive to transact in that it can't even function as a unit of account or as a medium of exchange. And it can't be a store of value, so it doesn't even have any of the characteristics that would be required to make it money. It's just a speculative token, and the price can change based on the mood of buyers and sellers, and eventually I think the price zeroes out. I paid somebody $1 million and they gave me their phone. I mean, I'd be an idiot to pay $1 million, but it doesn't mean I'm going to find a bigger fool that's going to pay me $2 million for that phone. But that's really what's going on with Bitcoin. I mean, the people who are buying Bitcoin or producing Bitcoin, yes, I agree, they're spending a lot of money to acquire or create that Bitcoin because they think they'll be able to sell it to somebody who will pay more.
And they do.
For now. But you don't know. Look, as we're talking right now, Bitcoin is about $19,000 a coin. Now, at one point, it was $69,000 a coin. So there were people who bought Bitcoin at $69,000 under the impression that they were buying a safe haven store of value. And what, they're down 70% right now on that? I mean, that's a bigger decline than just about anything. I mean, you can probably find some individual tech stocks that went down more than Bitcoin. But there's nothing safe, there's nothing secure, there's no values being stored there. But Bitcoin is 19,000 now. Who's to say that a year from now it won't be 9,000 or 1,000? You don't know. I mean, maybe it'll go up. I think it's more likely to go way down than go up. But something that can be that volatile and have such a big move in such a short period of time, I mean, I don't see how anybody would have confidence in it as a substitute for money.
Bitcoin is globally known for its decentralization and being one of the most secure networks in the world, with hundreds of thousands of miners. But what is Bitcoin worth? The true answer of Peter Schiff is that the inherent value is nothing, and it's not enough to describe an asset as valuable simply because it operates a secured network. However, it doesn't end there. Schiff was confronted with the fact that over the decades, Bitcoin has outperformed gold with respect to returns on investment. Therefore, with a long-term holding of 15 to 20 years, there is a confidence that Bitcoin will skyrocket and moon. Still, Peter Schiff would not adopt this position as he continues to believe that BTC can never become anything near a store of value, but rather a medium of exchange. Hear what Schiff has to say and why he said this.
Look, you could have made the same argument about Beanie Babies and gold. If you go back for the first few years of Beanie Babies, you could say, well, Beanie Babies are a better store of value than gold. Look how much they've outperformed gold as the bubble was inflating. Bitcoin is one of the biggest bubbles in the history of the world. And obviously, as the price of Bitcoin went from pennies to tens of thousands, it outperformed everything. Right? Yeah, if you would have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, home run. Even if you bought it 5 years ago, you made a really good amount of money. But the majority of people who own Bitcoin are losing money. That is a fact. Most people who own Bitcoin paid more than $19,000. And in fact, a lot of people who bought Bitcoin lower bought more higher. And their average price is now above the current market price. Look at some of these big promoters. Look at Michael Saylor. Look at how much money his company has lost. Billions of dollars. Look at that fool in El Salvador. Look how much money that poor country has lost already in Bitcoin, and they're going to lose even more. So yes, you had this huge speculative run-up in Bitcoin, but that's not a store of value. That's just a speculative gain, and the only people who benefited from that are the people who sold. The people who are holding on haven't made anything. They're hoping the price goes back up, but the price is more likely to go back down. In fact, if you look at what happened to Bitcoin in 2021, that was the peak of the bubble, right? Think about all the money that was spent by the crypto industry to pump up Bitcoin and other altcoins in 2021. Massive commercials, every network, billboards, stadiums, Super Bowl ads, conferences. Look at all the NFTs. El Salvador came out. I mean, it was one crazy thing after another. Massive hype. All the celebrities got on board. The athletes, the singers. Massive pump. Yet the price went down. You drive through my neighborhood, drive around my street. Half these houses are owned by crypto people. They came in here last year. They paid $40 million for houses in the street. Crazy prices. 8 times what I paid for my house, right? A couple years ago. Why? They were cashing out of their crypto. All the big money, as they were running all these commercials about how great crypto was and Bitcoin, what were they doing? They were selling. That's why the price didn't go up, despite unprecedented pumping. These institutions supposedly came in. Not Michael Saylor, but Anthony Scaramucci, Skybridge funds. Those funds are down. Look at all of his funds. They're down 60, 70, 80%. The people that poured in their money are killed. And I think that was the peak of the mania. People are just in denial right now. It's a massive bear market. Look at the technicals. Look at the chart. It's a complete disaster. Now, with the internet, with blockchain, and with other technology we have, your gold can sit in a vault and it can circulate without you ever having to touch it. So gold is going to work much better as money today than it did in the 19th century, the 18th century, the 17th century, or thousands of years before that. I mean, gold still works. You don't have to try to reinvent the wheel when the wheel still works. And by the way, Bitcoin isn't a wheel, so it's not going to work at all. But I wanted to get back to your 21 million, as if that's some kind of small amount, right? Well, each Bitcoin just represents an arbitrary quantity of Satoshis. So one Bitcoin is
100 million.
100 million. So there's 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. Are Satoshis scarce? There's 2.1 quadrillion of them.
What's your opinion of Peter Schiff's statements about Bitcoin and gold's utility? Do you also believe the globally known mother of cryptocurrency can never be a store of value like gold? Please drop your wildest thoughts and observations in the comments section. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more important market updates. Thanks for watching.